Oh, hey. Welcome to the basement. I have a challenge for us today. It's going to recreate one of the activities that I would often do if we were together in the classroom. I want to try it remotely. So we'll see what happens. And an understanding that it's possible that we might not finish, but I think it could really continue to build on, I believe, the lessons that are going the best, which is I get the most positive feedback from any lesson that we do that is live, that attempts to recreate the sharing of ideas that is synchronous rather than waiting for the flip grids. Although the flip grids seem to be going well as well, but I think they miss maybe that element of me being right there to give immediate feedback. So what we're going to try today is we're going to try to make a group presentation. Now, you're not going to be working in groups, so the only thing that you really have to just do is not step on each other's toes, because when we make a group presentation, you know that one of the challenges in a shared Google presentation is just making sure that you don't write in each other's slides, but I've done some work to try to make sure that that doesn't occur. And the groupings are more about splitting up the reading. Groups really don't have to work within each other either, just probably checking in a little bit and making sure that you're not doing the same thing, but everyone can really work individually today. Let me show you the materials that you're working with today. Everything's going to be attached to this assignment here called 6.20 Persepolis Reading Number 5 Deep Dive. I am dropping the discussion questions today. I have a copy of discussion questions that I will post later as their own thing, but I don't want to put them up and have them be a distraction. I'm sure that they are still helpful for taking notes and just having some ideas of extracts that you might want to focus on. But since this project today will make you focus on every page of reading number 5, I think it'll just be a distraction. So wait for that to be posted later. Under here, there's going to be today's video lesson, which I'm recording right now, so it can't be there. And then 2 other materials that I haven't added because I like the video lesson to be on top. There's going to be this presentation, which is the document that we are working on together. And there's going to be this folder, which is a scan of every page in reading number 5, from page 223 to page 291. So, it is organized by last modified right now on my computer, so if it looks like that on your computer, just make sure you organize it by name, and then it should show up in sequence so that you can find just the files that you need to work with today. Here is the random group generator that I use to put you in the assignments that I have. But again, these aren't people that you're working with. These are just how you've been divided up to break up the reading. So this is what the presentation looks like. Here is your assigned section of reading number 5, the number of pages that you'll be poring over to find what you're going to talk about, and then the students that are assigned to those pages. I've already set it up so that there's one blank slide, for each of those students, or in a 4-student group, there are 4 slides. So some of that organization I've done for you. You still will have to claim a slide as your own. What I want you to do is on your slide, you're going to insert an image, and you can either upload from the computer if you decide to go into the folder and download the page just by doing a download and then an upload, or if you are confident that you can figure out how to navigate to that folder or search for that folder, you can also insert it from Drive. It's going to be far easier for me because all of those images I just uploaded, so they all show up in my recent folder. Okay, so say I'm in this group that's been assigned the croissant. I'm going to use my text, all right, and I'm going to remember using the page numbers that my teacher has given me. The croissant is 223 to 232. So I'm going to give those pages a look over. And I'm going to find something that I can examine closely. All right. And so for a example, I'm just choosing this because it attracted me visually. I am not even rereading the dialogue balloons right now. I'm choosing a panel at the bottom of 224. So then I'm going to insert 224. And what you can do, if you haven't done this before, if you double click on an image when you are editing within a Google Doc or Google Sheets, you'll get these black bars, and these black bars allow you to shrink and crop what you're focusing on. So if I want to look at just this panel, I can do this with these bars, then click outside, and I've essentially masked off the part of the image that I don't plan on talking about. And then this allows me to blow this up big. It's going to get distorted a little bit, so you can play with that. If you want it to be a little less blown out, you can shrink it a little bit. It's understandable. It's how computer resolution works, that you're going to lose a bit of the sharpness of the image as you blow it up. But what blowing it up allows you to do is it allows you to make some more intense commentary on the composition and style of Satrapi's work. So, this is where we get to the focus point of today's presentation. Whether or not we get through everybody's slide, we'll finish it in a second class if we need to, just to make sure that we're playing fair. But what I would like you to do in your getting ready for this is I would really like to hear more of the use of the graphic novel form vocabulary in your analysis of Satrapi's work. It is clear to me that her autobiography, her memoir, is capturing you, because it is a memoir, and Iran is foreign to us as Westerners, or if we have Eastern heritage in our family, maybe we're not from this Eastern country in particular, or the fact that we grew up here in New Hampshire. There's plenty to learn about in this text, and I think you're finding yourself fascinated by this protagonist who is the author, so, a real person. But in your analysis, what I'm hearing is a lot of social context. It shows us that the people of Iran are much like us. I'm surprised that the regime is so restrictive. It reminds us that education is a value, and while the families may have it, the government has it in a different way. All of those are fine observations. I'm just not hearing them being connected back to the form, which, as with any text, any work that we're challenged with this particular project, you must sound informed as to not just the substance of the work, but also the style. Those impressions that you're getting, how is the art supporting those impressions? And what I challenge you to do is to find something deep. If it comes down to the use of this particular curly Q line for this character's hairstyle, why would she choose that? What meaning does that give? So, some options that I want to remind you of. Anything that is in the language of composition, so the size and the shape of characters within the frame, the idea of a wide shot, a close-up, any of those language terms of film applicable to art. And we can also talk about the form of graphic novels and remember that we have the work of captions, we have the organization of dialogue balloons, the shape of the dialogue balloons. We have the spacing between the panels, which we call the gutter. Like when we look at 9 panels on a page, that indicates a sequence, that indicates a pace. And so just like when we read a novel, I have seen students at your level be able to say like, ooh, the language here identifies a frenetic pace. Marlowe's journey is clearly picking up because the words are smushed together. Well, this should be even easier for us then. We should be able to pick up mood and tone, not just from the black and white, but from things like pace, things like sequence, things like number of panels or size of panels or where the subject is placed on the panel. I want to hear more of that, not just your impressions of the theme, but where those impressions are coming from. All right, so looking back at this is where the little bit of cooperation is going to be required, because if you are Megan and you're working on this slide, and as you're working you notice that this is what Justin's slide is looking like, oh my goodness, both of you are working on the same subject. So find a way, maybe through email, maybe through this, maybe through a comment, dropping a comment on each other's work. There's some ways to do it, of just sort of trying to sort that out. Like, if you're going to do this panel, what are you saying? Can we say something different? At 8:40, I'll fire up the Google Meet, which will be a little bit different. Yesterday, they rolled out a new quality of Google Classroom, which is that we have a dedicated Meet Classroom in our class. It's not open unless I open it up, but as soon as I click this link, it generates a random code for us, and we are up and running. So I will click that link at 40. I'm going to change that. I'm going to say that I'm going to fire that up at 8:30 to start gathering everyone in. And then it'll be around 8:40 that we begin the presentation. So I will see you there in about 40 minutes. Good luck on your deep dive in Persepolis reading number 5. I look forward to talking to you soon.